yourself vulnerable. Never make someone have control of something in your business that can make you vulnerable. Consider everyone replaceable. If you don't, you'll end up in an unexpected situation where your destiny will no longer be in your own hands. Remember, I just said, hire smart people, hire the best people you can find, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, this is a very crucial point, because you don't want to hire people that can essentially take you out of business. It happened to me. I mean, I didn't have an MBA school degree at 16 to realize what trust was, how I can trust people. But, you know, that guy I hired to go ahead and create that software for me, and I ended up paying a lot of money for it, realized 6 months into it, wow, this guy actually has a real business. Because in 6 months, we were doing $300,000 a month in revenue. And he basically said, if you don't give me a third of the company, I'm going to shut you down. So I basically said, okay, shut me down. Trying to call his bluff, but I got shut down. And at 16, you don't have the resources of what to do. And you know what? The FBI is not really going to go ahead and pick up your case, because they have bigger things to do. So I had to go ahead and pick up where I screwed up and realize that, you know what? Once I got back control of my business at 16, I realized that I have to hire some smart people, and I have to pay them really well. And I have to basically realize that I'm never going to go ahead and put myself in a vulnerable situation where somebody can just go ahead and do that to me. And that's, you know, probably a very instrumental lesson that you probably can't learn from textbooks, because it's the reality of trust, emotion, and people. Hunger. Surround yourself around people that want to see you successful, and most importantly, are hungry. I don't mean food-wise, but I mean in terms of appetite of wanting to see success. Too many people in this world want a handout. Money doesn't grow on trees, and you don't want to go ahead and just give your hard work to people that aren't going to put that ammunition in place. So be careful and only surround yourself around the right people. So one of the things I did in my second company is that I found a company in Belarus called Ad Revolver. I picked up the phone, and it was a Louisiana phone number. Louisiana is a state in America. And as soon as I dialed, it actually had this international dial tone happen. And I realized, okay, Louisiana is part of the United States. It should not have an international dial tone. It actually routed me to Belarus. And this thick Russian accent picked up the phone. And I talked, and I basically said, hey, I'm interested in talking to you about business and potentially taking a look at what you have. Within that week, I flew down to London, took a look at what they had, and then basically realized that they actually are in Belarus, Minsk, and they just have a 1-800 number that supposedly looks like a Louisiana number, but they're actually just scrappy entrepreneurs in Belarus, Minsk, but guys that have built some great technology. I flew out there, saw basically some of the scrappiest desks, the scrappiest offices in apartment buildings, and loved the adrenaline, and I loved the enthusiasm of the people that I saw there. So I basically made a deal. I asked him, what do you want for your business? He said, $500,000. I said, I ain't going to give you that. But what I will give you is an opportunity to be a part of my company. So I'll give you wallpaper. This wallpaper is basically a vote of confidence to tell you that if you work hard, you will make a lot more money than $500,000, guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed, but you know, you get the drift. And he took that risk. Fast forward 3 years later, they got $15 million for that deal. Well deserved, well deserved. I mean, I'm all about sharing the wealth. I'm all about surrounding yourself around the right people. But most importantly, the hardest thing for an entrepreneur to do is find out who is that hungry to take that risk, work that hard, and in conjunction, have that success. Embrace rejection. Everything happens for a reason. Learn to accept rejection and embrace it. It will make you stronger. I learned that the hard way. I learned that in school. I learned that from being picked on. I learned that from being the odd one. And I also learned that in business. No one wanted to fund me at ClickAgents. And just to remind you, this was 12 years ago when it was the dot-com boom. This is where people were getting IPO'd, millions of dollars were being raised over lunch, simply because somebody had a dot-com idea. And I had a business that was making millions of dollars a year in revenue and profit, and nobody wanted to fund me. No one. Now fast forward at Blue Lithium, when I started my second company, and I had already had success written because of my last company, there was 2 times that I actually had people that gave me money and then they pulled out the last minute. So, I mean, that's what investors are. They can do that. They didn't really even have the confidence back then to go ahead and fund me. So I had to embrace rejection. Eventually, I raised $11.5 million the third time around. But I had to even adapt and embrace the fact that things happen for a reason, and I just got to go back to work harder, and prove people wrong. Other industry examples. You guys know who J.K. Rowling is? The most successful author worldwide. And she actually she created the Harry Potter series of books, which are now big, big movies. And she went to 6 different publishers for the first Harry Potter book. All said, not gonna happen. You ain't gonna get it. The 7th publisher finally gave her a deal. So this is, just to remind you, the amount of success this author has had, no author worldwide ever has had. And she had to face rejection 7 times. You guys know who Magellan is? It's the original GPS company that is now sits in all these cars where you guys can punch in where you want to go. This person had a hell of a rejection thermometer. Actually, this person had it so well, I don't know how many people would actually be able to have the same type of appetite for it. He went out 86 times for funding. And he had this crazy idea that someday in cars, there will actually be GPSs, and people will want them. And most people said, never gonna happen, won't happen, 86 times. Till the 87th time, he got that original round of funding, which actually established a multi-billion-dollar industry around GPS devices.